and good evening, everybody. We are live with week 3 of Pest Problems by Pfitzer Pest Control. And this week, we are going to have part 1 of our 2-part series on chemicals. So we wanted to really talk to you specifically about chemicals this week because we've had a lot of people writing in and asking us to do some specific episodes on chemicals. So this week we're going to do part 1 of our chemical series on insects, so insect control for chemicals. And next week we're going to do rodents. So we're going to kind of cover both, but we wanted to give them both their unique and specific amount of time. So you wonder probably why this one is dressed as he is, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But again, this week is about insects. Next week will be about rodent control. We're Garrett and Karen Pfitzer coming to you from Pfitzer Pest Control. And we are here in Mobridge, South Dakota in our main office. And this week, again, we're talking about insects, but we're also talking about for the house and not the lawn. And the other important thing to remember if you're local here at our home office is we do lawn care as well here. So this is not related to your lawn care chemicals, so keep that in mind as well. So we're asked, like I said, all the time about chemical safety, and most of the time people are more concerned about their pets than their humans, which is kind of funny, but I guess we can relate because as you probably met last week, our cat, we're animal people. We love our animals. We like kids too, but we certainly understand why you're concerned about your pets. And not only are we concerned about your pets, but for me, marrying the pest control guy, when we started dating, I was definitely concerned about the human side of it and what kind of chemicals are you dealing with that could potentially affect you short-term or long-term. So believe me, I had millions of questions, as many of you women out there probably would if you're dating the pest control guy. So, the questions were, what are the chemicals? What kind of protective gear are you wearing every single time? What if you get sprayed? What if you get sprayed in the face? What are you doing when you're handling chemicals? There's so many questions that I had. So I'm guessing these are similar questions that a lot of you had. So we talked to a lot of you in the last couple of weeks, heard some recommendations, and so we're going to answer some of your questions now. So the first thing I really wanted to talk about and get Garrett involved in was what they call the PPE. It's the personal protective equipment. So that's kind of what you're seeing him in now. So if you see someone walking around your yard that looks like this, don't be scared. It's probably Garrett or one of your pest control people. Now, if you don't use Pfitzer Pest Control, if you don't have a pest control provider and someone's looking like this, you maybe should call the police. So, and even if we're on your lawn and we're not supposed to be there, that's probably not a good thing. So, anyway, Garrett, can you release yourself so you can answer a couple questions? Is it hot under there?
Yes, it gets very warm.
So this is Garrett, and he is one of the owners of Pfitzer Pest Control. Garrett, I guess, why the getup? Why do you need it for? What don't you need it for? What specifically is the reason to wear the protective gear?
The only reason we're going to end up wearing that is if it's required on the label. We kind of go by a little note. The label is the law. So whatever the label says we can do, however we mix it or whatever, that's the law. That's what we do. Most chemicals, when we're around the house, you're not going to see us wearing that stuff. Maybe if it's a little bit breezy or something, we might put it on just because we're around it all day long, every day. But as far as the dilution part of it, if it gets on your pets or anything like that, it's not going to hurt them. Sometimes I'll get someone say, my dog walked on there after you were done. Had itchy paws, all you have to do is wipe them off. Sometimes a wet rag is all you need, or you can just give them a quick little bath.
So what if I see you on the lawn or outside of the house wearing that? Should I walk up to you and see what you're doing, or what do you recommend?
No, please don't, because we are wearing that for a reason. A lot of times I'll get people, I'm spraying, they'll come up to me, I'm wearing all the gear. It's best to just stand back, wait till we're done. We've sprayed thousands of houses. We know what the wind's going to do, how the drift's going to carry. So just stay back till we're done if you have any questions, and then we'll come talk to you.
So if you're not wearing what you were just wearing, so what are standard precautions that you as the pest control technician needs to take when you're handling chemicals?
Most of the labels are going to say shoes, socks, pants, gloves, shirt. And the reason we have to wear that is because we're mixing the concentrate when we're diluting it, and it is pretty strong at that point. Once it's diluted, and we're putting a few ounces into 100 gallons, it's extremely diluted at that point and is completely safe.
So you're saying I don't need to go buy little pet booties for my cat?
No, you don't.
Okay. So what's standard though? Because I feel like I shouldn't be licking the walls after you spray them. I mean, what do you recommend?
I always recommend to people stay off it till it's dry. It's usually dry in about 20 minutes. If we do any spraying inside, it's perfectly fine to be around. It's actually the same stuff we use in restaurants and schools when they're not in production. But if you feel more comfortable leaving for a half hour, just go ahead and do that.
So what if little Giz walks on the walls? Can she walk on the walls? What if she hops on the windowsill? You sprayed, she hops on the windowsill, and then she sits there and then she licks her paws. What's gonna happen?
Nothing will happen to her.
You've never lost a pet?
I never have.
Okay, well, and you never will. This is coming from a guy who wears cat shirts, so he would definitely not be trying to get the cats going. But anyway, I guess, so we got the pets covered. Kids, we're covered there. I know we talked a little bit about fish. What about fish?
Most insecticides are extremely toxic to fish. So if you have any fish ponds outside, just let us know before we get started, because sometimes we might get started and the wind comes up and blows chemical around. It has the possibility of drifting in there. So.
Gotcha. So how do the chemicals actually work on the bugs? Like, what's the process, the dying process? Is that what you call it?
We can, I guess. Like I said, we spray it on your house. It'll be wet. And the way I kind of explain it to people is, it's like we're putting millions of little balloons on your house. And then when these insects step on them, they pop the balloon. And insects have an exoskeleton, so they absorb it through their exoskeleton. It gets into their nervous system and shuts it down. You'll see them convulsing, and it's usually pretty quick. Some bugs might take an hour, some might take a few minutes. It just depends.
I've heard you explain it, so bugs have the exoskeleton and then humans have the endoskeleton. So the reason that the chemicals don't affect them is because?
Well, it's completely different chemistry. Any of the chemicals designed for insects is going to be designed for their enzymes, their proteins, and their nervous system. It's not going to affect the human nervous system.
I just did that for me because I like it when he talks chemical stuff, because I'm not good at that. Anyway, I also wanted to so you mentioned before that it was like 10 minutes, 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
Until it's dry?
Yeah, you've talked about it's drying, but how many minutes do you recommend?
It depends. On average, I would say within a half hour it's going to be dry. Unless it's a damp, cool morning, then it might take an hour.
Okay. And I guess if you're questioning that, you can always ask him, hey, how long do you recommend today, basis the weather. So you seem quite knowledgeable about this. So what kind of training do you need to go through? Like when you started, how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for about 10 years now. When I started, I went to a very intensive 3-week class. And then every other year we have to go to these classes to get recertified. All the techs have to do it too. That one's usually only a day, but every other year we're doing that.
Mm-hmm. So this is like a proud wife, like humble brag here, but I remember you telling a story when you went through your first 3 weeks and then they gave you the wrong exam for like their master class or something.
Yep.
And then you passed the wrong test.
Yep.
Like the difficult test after 3 weeks.
Passed that test, but they wouldn't give it to me because I had to be a tech for 2 years before I could take it.
So you heard it here. He obviously knows chemicals, that side of it too. So if you have any specific questions or you're struggling or concerned, Garrett can definitely answer your questions. And if you're not in our territory, we train our techs as well, and they go through all of the intensive training and they have to have their recertification as well. So you can ask your tech, they can answer your questions, and that's what we're here for, is to handle the chemicals with skill and to make sure that you're getting everything taken care of in the proper way. So you're not having to put on one of those masks and not know what the heck you're doing every single time. So I guess, did you have anything else about chemicals that you wanted to talk about?
No, I don't think at this time. I think next time we'll discuss some rodent chemicals. It just gets too long for each section otherwise. But and
Get
then
excited.
someday we'll do the yard chemicals too. So
Yeah, we can do maybe like a special episode because a lot of you guys aren't in the Mobridge area, Mobridge, South Dakota, so we don't offer lawn care outside of this territory yet. So, we'd love to take any specific questions that you guys have relating chemicals over the week. So if you want to send us a message on Facebook, if you feel more comfortable sending an email, service@pfitzerpestcontrol.com, then we can answer your specific question next week. I know a lot of you have reached out to us, so we really appreciate that and that helps formulate the content specific to what you guys are looking for. So make sure that you keep that in mind, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. So we know that you're all on Facebook, and we know that that we can see how many people are watching. So this is really great because we're getting thousands of people every week. So what this means is that you can take just a few seconds of your time and cancel out of this video and go back to our main page, Pfitzer Pest Control, and at the top, you can just go to the reviews section and just leave us a review if you've worked with us in the past. We would love to get your reviews. We have, I think, 20 some there. We'd love to get it like a lot more than that. So we'd love to get some reviews from you guys on Facebook. Certainly appreciate you guys spending some time with us again this week. If you have any specific pest control related questions, you can message us on Facebook or call our central number at 844-9-BY-BYE-BUG. That's 844-9, I had it memorized, 844-9-BYE, we'll put it in the comments, BYE-BUG. Thank you all so much, and we will see you next week, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time and 6 p.m. Mountain. Have a wonderful week. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.